Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. I'd like to introduce you to a guest who was here not too long ago who actually taught us a little bit about the credit industry. And I wanted to him to come back and speak more and a little bit more extensive. Go ahead and please introduce yourself.
Hello, audience again. Robert Childs here from Orange County, California. Beautiful Halloween day out for the trick-or-treaters this evening and the kids. And my company is called debtandcreditguys.com. And we've been doing the credit restoration for the last 33 years.
Nice. Now, Rob, let's start off from the beginning. What city and state were you born in?
I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, back in 1967, so I've been around the block quite a few times. And in 1982, January of 82 to be exact, I ended up moving to Silicon Valley, California, and we're only supposed to be there with my father's contract because I was a teenager back then. 2 years later, so I was to go back home. Ended up that we stayed in California because my dad retiring later in life, and now I've been in California for the last 41 years.
Now, so I think when you moved to Cali, you were what, a teenager?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Now, prior to, let's say, moving to Cali, because the Philadelphia seems short lived, 14, 15 years. But how was it there in the 60s or 70s at that time? Do you recall it being rough, or was it just
Calm, so calm. And California as well in the 80s and 90s, great place to live. And just over the years, with gas prices going crazy these days, and unfortunately the homeless problem situation, especially down here in LA, it grew. And now there's a great exit. My wife and I are going to be leaving California in the next few years and moving to Saigon, Vietnam.
nice? Okay, so when you moved here in the 80s, right? I think that was like the Steve Jobs was pretty popular at that time, right? What was it like Silicon Valley? What was it like during the 80s?
Well, it's before technology and cell phones. I remember at lunchtime we had in high school. I graduated high school in 1985 in a school from San Jose, California. And at lunchtime or break time, in order to make your plans for the weekend, we had to rush to a big bank of payphones. It was great, and long lines. And I had a buddy of mine. His dad was rich, and he allowed me to borrow his car phone in his nice-looking Corvette convertible at the time, charging probably $5 a minute. But it was a safe time. There wasn't sideshows like you see on the roads today and smash and grabs that go on today. It was very, very calm. And, San Jose included was very safe, very safe. Even Los Angeles, very safe. And as time, went on, it just got more complicated, I think, with people's lives.
I heard that at that time, and it's just something I watched on YouTube, but I heard at that time in Silicon Valley, it was just being like on the come up or something like that, being built. I mean, at what time did like the big techies get out there?
I'm going to say definitely the mid to late 1980s. As they say in the 1970s, when Steve Jobs found the first computer, Apple computer in 1976. I would say that the explosion happened with high tech, definitely in the 80s, going into the early 90s. At that time, and throughout the whole 90s, it really exploded. Retail companies were going strong. Circuit City, Mervyn's, if anyone remembers those days, and now they're gone. So it was a great time. In 1970, when I was 3 years old in Pennsylvania, my father, he was 30 years older than I am, he comes home from work, and he said to my mom, "Hey, I have an opportunity to work overseas in the Middle East." So we ended up packing up in summer of 1970. I was only 3 years old. Lived in Tehran, Iran for 6 years. And we left it in summer of 1976 and came back to Pennsylvania, where I spent a total of 6 years before moving to California in 1982. But it was a great time. Back then, Middle East was very calm. People from the Persian countries loved Americans. And of course, the rest is history. The Shah got kicked out. American hostages taken in 1980 at the U.S. Embassy. And the rest is in the history books, of course, happening today. But Iran was a great country, very gold, rich in oil. And because of all the sanctions that happened like North Korea, it got worse. And that's what caused our gas prices to jump through the roof. I remember in 1999, gas prices were 99 cents a gallon in San Jose. And when it got to $1.10, oh my God, everyone freaked out. But it kept on going up, and it is what it is. But the cost of living goes up, rent, mortgages, interest rates, you name it. When I purchased my first home in the late 80s, I was paying 17%. And people would say, where'd you get such a good rate? Back then, 15%, So, but it's getting more and more difficult these days. But back in those golden days, great 1980s music, awesome, safe to walk around in the middle of the night. You don't have to worry about getting mugged. California's got great weather in general, so I just love Southern California, particularly when I moved down here in 2014 from San Jose. And am I contemplating leaving the state? Back then, no, I loved it. But today, absolutely. Half my family already left California. And I'll be following that footsteps here in the next probably 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Now, as a teen coming up in California now, you're in school, you're having fun. Let's get a feel of who Rob was, right? Was Rob the I'm with the rock and roll cool kids, or I'm by myself, or I'm with the nerdy kids I just want to learn? Who was Rob?
I was hanging out with the nerdy kids. I've always done quite well in school. Not to say straight A's, but B's, A's, not bad. Not bad. I wouldn't take a sewing class. I'd probably get an F in that one. But I started learning comedy because I was such a nerd. Here Italian guy with a skinny at the time with a big nose. And did I get bullied? No, a little bit. But I fought back when they did. But I started studying comedy. George Carlin, Ronnie Dangerfield, Bobby Slayton, Stephen Wright. And I started mixing comedy into what I do today as credit restoration. And it really sets people apart. Family, friends, you're the life of the party. I'm not looking to be a famous, but I had an opportunity actually in the mid-90s. I did a stand-up amateur show in San Francisco at a comedy club, amateur night. It was a Tuesday, and I did my spiel for about 10 minutes, and I got this gentleman comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'm an agent. Love to see you go on the road." And at that time, I had only been married to my first wife for 2 or 3 years. 3 years, 1995. And I said, we'll go home, and I talked to my wife about it. Oh my God, this guy, he wants to make a lot of money doing stand-up comedy. I said, you know what? I love my wife too much to be gone 300 days a year. So I turned it down. Got divorced a few years later, so maybe I should have taken him up on that offer, but I didn't. But I still do it from time to time. And I love humor, clean humor. Not these dirty jokes. Yeah, I'll say some dirty jokes from time to time. But it's really fun. Be happy. A lot of stress in life. Lots of stress in life. Money problems, people out of COVID, people got stressed out, lost their jobs, lost their apartments, lost their homes in foreclosure in 2008, the market crash. But if you mix it with humor, it'll make you feel better and younger, besides the gray hair. But it's very important, to understand and be with family. I love my second wife. We've been married for 16 years. Just became a grandfather 9 days ago. my stepson had a son in Vietnam. So it's a good feeling as family grows. Take care of family. And that's what I do. I work hard, but I play hard. And I love traveling. We travel to Asia a lot. And my wife she escaped Vietnam in the early 80s and been there with her more than a half a dozen times, 8 times maybe, all throughout Asia. And I love traveling. Fell in love with Vietnam. That's why we're going to move there for the rest of our lives, not give up my U.S. citizenship, but I love Vietnam. I mean, where can you buy a 12-ounce bottle of water for 15 cents? It's great, it's cheap, but great lifestyle. And I tell you, Vietnam is becoming the next Silicon Valley. So I love travel. I like having fun. Sometimes my wife says, you act like a kid. I don't care. That's my last name, Childs. Just have fun. With all the stresses in life, you just got to have fun. Not at all. In fact, well, my first wife and I, we left in good terms anyway. You know, California, 50%, blah, 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 assets we built. But it was a clean divorce, even though we did have attorneys to make it legal. And she took this, I took that. She left my business alone. And she did a lot for my business. She actually grew it quite a bit. And in fact, even after we had separated, she worked for me for a period of time because she's so good at organization. Women are good at organization, guys. Women are good, not men. And it was phenomenal that she kept me in line, helped me from doing my corporate taxes, all the way to just doing the administration stuff. And then, she met someone, got remarried. So I wish her the best. But it was a good divorce, and I worked harder. I ended up working really hard and grew my company.
So I think it's safe to say that all divorces don't end up in some fiery crash.
This one didn't, but a lot do. Even though California has a high divorce rate, 70, 80%, I don't know what it is, but this one ended, because I wanted to part on good terms anyway. We have no kids together. I don't have any kids myself. She had a couple of miscarriages in the early 90s, but nevertheless, we parted in good ways, and she met someone else, got married, and she's happy. That's what's important. And I'm happy. That's the most important thing. I had a great wife. And they always say, you always make mistakes when you're young. Got married when I was 25. Now I'm 56 years old. But I worked harder, and I really did. I worked hard. And I also have to say that part of the reason I got divorced from my first wife, I was so addicted to football, sports. And I said, I'm not going to do that again. So you always learn from your first marriage or mistakes. And I said, I'm not doing that again. And I like football. I watch it from time to time, baseball as well, hockey, but not being the addiction that I had to it before.
Now, were you addicted to the point where you were gambling on the sports?
I wasn't gambling, no. But just watching it, and I'd go to a lot of games. 49ers, which I loved, Philadelphia Eagles, because I was born in Philly. Went to a lot of games, watched a lot of it, sports, bars. Not much of a drinker, but I just enjoyed the game. But I spent too much time doing that. And my first wife said, I think I'm married to a ghost. So I had to scale back. And we had other issues, that reason why we broke up anyway. But I said to my second wife, this is what happened. And she knows of my first wife, never met her. And I said, what I did here made mistakes. It's not going to happen here. So live and learn. And that's what I did. So now I scaled back a lot, not being so addicted to sports.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you then eventually you met your second wife, whom you're with now, Vietnamese from Vietnam. I'm gonna assume, because I think the Vietnam War was like in the late 70s.
It ended in 75.
Okay,
yeah.
so
yeah.
Was she in Vietnam at that time?
Yeah, she escaped in 1980, and she was a typical boat story. They call them the boat people. She escaped on a boat outside of Nha Trang, Vietnam, which is now a beautiful 5-star resort city. And she was out at sea for 1 or 2 days. Storm was coming, and she got picked up by a Filipino cargo ship. And the captain says, come on in. There was about maybe 10, 11 of them that were on this makeshift boat. The storm came, and they ended up going to Japan, where they stayed for 2 more years, and then they came to Silicon Valley 2 years after that in 1982. So I wish I met her back then, but I didn't. And I'm learning Vietnamese. And if you want to look at your beautiful wife or girlfriend, say Anh Em. It means you're very, very beautiful. I love you. But I love the Vietnamese culture. I usually eat nothing but Vietnamese food now. And when I go to a fast food restaurant or eat pizza or American restaurant, my stomach hurts because my body's adapted to the beautiful, perfect food of Vietnamese. It's a great weight loss. And I fell in love with her really hard. And so met her through some friends. And when I first met her, I asked her, hey, you want to dance? We're at a Vietnamese nightclub. And she goes, bup. And I said, oh, maybe she doesn't talk. So I went back to my own table, where I was about 30 feet apart from her table, which was another group of her girlfriends, and I was with my Vietnamese friends. And a few minutes later, at my shoulder, and I turned around, in broken English, you want to dance? Hell yeah. Got up, started dancing, got her phone number. 1 year later, got married. Now it's been 16 years. So time flies fast.
Congratulations on that,
Thanks.
man.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but let me show it to you here real quick. My wife has a number on top of it, but yeah, beautiful woman. I love the Vietnamese culture. When we go to Vietnam, I'm so relaxed. I'm relaxed. You know, the weather is hot all year round and very muggy. If anyone's been there, it rains a lot in the summer, but it's very enjoyable. And I'll tell you guys, southern Vietnam, Hanoi included, which is in the north, Saigon is booming. Big American companies are buying property out there. And I tell you, they're opening up, you know, after COVID ended, they're getting out of China and they're opening up factories and offices in Saigon. And Vietnam is exploding. It's exploding. It lost a lot of money during the war. They did with the American, you know, Vietnam War. But they're coming back hard in a good way. Their GDP has grown. I mean, this year alone, I think the news said $449 billion that their GDP is going to be this year in 2023. So they are booming.
Wow. Nice. Sounds like you're ahead of the curve, man. You're going to go ahead and get some property and stuff out there immediately.
Already have it. Yeah. See, so we're looking to relocate. Not going to give out U.S. citizenship. That's one privilege of being born in this country, but at least we can come and go when we want. You know, and I'll tell you, my stepson, he just had a baby son, like I said, 9 days ago, and he was born in America. But he says, you know what? He's been out there 5-6 years now. He says, I'm not coming back. I'll come back to visit, but I'm living here in Vietnam. It's so relaxing. I can't talk enough about it. But I just love the lifestyle. Yeah.
Okay. Now, about Vietnam, I just have this question, me personally. Let's just say for someone who's addicted to the American lifestyle, so to speak, and let's mention some things like the nightclubbing, the beer, the games, right? And how does one, is that still over, can I still live that lifestyle over there, or do you have to completely?
No, they definitely, there's a lot of young Vietnamese women that want to meet Western men. Some don't. They want to either, you know, marry or be with a Chinese man or Japanese man or someone who's from Vietnam. I know that most of them say, from what I read on the internet and YouTube, that Western men, especially American men and European men, treat the women like a queen, and that's what they want. Not to be taken care of. A lot of them are very independent. Some of them are wealthy. Some are rich. Some are poor. Many are poor, but they want, in the past 10 years or more, want to get out of Vietnam. Now, a lot of them are saying, no, I'd rather stay here in Vietnam. And many Americans, we were there just last Christmas, and walking around, and I'm talking to some people, and they're saying, oh my God, you say, are you from America? I said, yeah, California. Oh, that's my dream country. Are you sure? They only paint a good picture on the internet, not the bad stuff. And I show this one 12-year-old girl, 12-year-old boy, pictures of, you know, the homeless population. He said, oh, really? They don't show that much on the internet unless you search for it. They think that, oh, America's the home of the dream, make a good living, which is true if you put your heart to it. But they don't know about heavy tax. They don't know about stupid government. I'm not going to talk politics on this recording, but it is so true. And many Vietnamese that come here and they live for a few years and say, you know what, I'm getting the hell out of here. They're going back to Vietnam. And because the job opportunities are booming out there. The average salary in Vietnam, let's say for a retail worker working in a McDonald's or a ice cream shop or retail store inside a mall, they make about $1 an hour, and they work 10, 12-hour days. So if they're lucky to make, you know, $500 a month, that's phenomenal. You know, it's phenomenal. And like, I'll just give you guys an example. This is 500,000 dong, or about $20. And if one time I was at a restaurant, cute, you know, waitress, about maybe in her mid-20s, was serving my stepson and I. And remember, these guys are making $1 an hour. They might make a couple dollars more in tips. And I tipped her $1 million dong. I gave her $40. Her eyes lit up like this. Oh, thank you, thank you. So they're hardworking people. Just like the Japanese, very hardworking. The Vietnamese people, very hardworking. That's why my wife is just so dedicated to Vietnam, and we donated money over there before, even when we go there in person. But it's a great country, and I think that their economy is improving so well that I'd say probably in the next 20 years, their wages will catch up with the U.S. I mean, U.S. will still always be ahead, but it's catching up. And if you work as an office worker or a receptionist, you'll be making probably $1,000 a month. So the wages are catching up. It's gotten better in the last 10 years. The first time I went to Vietnam with her was in 2010, and it wasn't as good then as it is today. And I was there last time in, 2015, 2018, and just recently. So it's improving. And boy, there's a lot of new American and European manufacturing companies moving out there, building factories. It's amazing.
Now, speaking of culture, and you mentioned something earlier today that I'm going to go back on and grab it and bring the culture into it. Because it seems that the Vietnam, when I listen to you speak about Vietnam, it seems like a whole paradigm shift for you.
Yeah.
So, being from America, the narrative now, the smash and grabs, the this and that, has American culture went to the trash? Is it the same? We're speaking about Vietnam saying, oh, they're improving, and 20 years from now, they're going to be. Is that the same talk of America right now? Or is it, you being here when it was the heyday of our America 80s? Like you said, you could leave your door unlocked. What is it now?
Vietnam is dangerous to some extent. Every big city is going to have, even Beverly Hills, California, is going to have problems. But you have to be cautious, keep your nose clean. It is still a communist country, not like North Korea, but it is a communist country. So you have to watch your P's and Q's. As far as if you are someone in Vietnam and you were to kill someone outside of being in self-defense, they will execute you within 30 days. There's none of this on death row for 20, 30 years and taxpayers paying for it. They find you guilty, either they'll whip you or you'll be put to death, depending on the situation. So, but outside of all that, it's a great growing country. The United States has its problems. We're $32 trillion in debt, and growing. Student loan, credit card debt's going crazy. But when the Vietnamese government are learning from our mistakes, they look at it and say, you know what, we're not going to do that. For example, their currency. There's no coins. It's all bills, which eliminates having to make the actual coins. It's awesome. Tax is usually included, if any at all. Payroll. If you're an American citizen and you go to work there for an American company, you only pay about 10% tax, up to like $250,000 a year, something like that. Not exactly sure on that 100%, but it's easy to open up an operation. If you want to start a retail store, yogurt shop, ice cream shop, a clothing store in a mall, and you can do that as a non-Vietnamese citizen. So their laws are relaxed to a certain point as long as you follow the rules. Because unlike Singapore, where if you go $200 fine, watch out. But in Vietnam, you can't just throw trash on the ground. People have to respect that. Traffic is crazy. A lot of mopeds. You have to watch out. Pedestrians don't have the right of way. But that's changing. Even though the main city like Saigon is gridlocked, but life is changing as far as following traffic rules. They're opening up their local DMVs, registration, so they're really catching up with technology, which has really improved in the last 5 years. So compared to America, I was born here, knock on wood. Are we the best country in the world? I don't know. To me, I don't think so. I think a lot of Asian countries are the best in the world, Japan being one of them. But, do I like California? Yeah. Do I like living here? Not really. I'm ready for the next chapter of my life. So all said and done, Vietnam is a beautiful country. And, once I get things settled here with a few things and other family responsibilities, we're out of here. So our goal is in the next 4 years, 3-4 years, to pack up. I'll still be doing my business. It's all online. virtually. You can be anywhere on the planet with a computer and internet access and a good website. But for the most part, I don't want to be living here anymore.
Is America the only country with the credit system?
Canadians have 9-digit Social Security number. They have similar Fair Credit Reporting Act laws, the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, telephone collection practice, like collection agencies. They have similar laws, but it's a little bit more relaxed than what U.S. law does to protect us consumers. So, except for Canada, we're the only two countries that use this. Vietnam is trying to adopt a similar system because Vietnam is practically a debt-free country. If you want to buy a home, you have to pay cash. If you want to buy a car, you got to pay cash. And it's heavy in tax. But they're starting to lean towards some kind of ID number, like called our Social Security number, where people could use it to build credit and to get credit cards and get a mortgage and things like that. But they're going to move very slowly because right now, for the most part, they're not indebted like we are. As I mentioned on my previous video, this country alone, the United States, has 8 times more credit cards in our wallets than the whole world combined. And we're $17 trillion in credit card debt now combined, bad and good. So it's getting worse. So Vietnam wants to be careful that they don't follow in our footsteps with that mess that we had, for craziness with all the debts. So, but a lot of stuff there is free. Some tuition to go to school. Hospitals are very cheap, very cheap. You have a baby in this country, you'll be paying, the insurance will pay $50,000, $80,000, $100,000. My stepson and his wife paid $1,500 to have a baby. That's it. So healthcare is better. The hospital systems are better. And it's clean. Very, very clean. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. So I think America can learn from Asia. Yeah.
Yeah, well, America, it's like you said, some people will consider it the greatest country on the planet Earth. I love it. I'm from here. But I do plan on traveling abroad. I have my passport and I want to see because I've heard some phenomenal stories like what you're saying, the economy, the advantages. So what year did you actually build your credit company? What year? Was it before you met your wife, your second wife?
Yeah, it was just before I met my first wife. I started in 1990. Yeah.
Oh, got you. So, okay, got you. All right. So I think I asked you this before, but I don't think I got it on camera. What, out of all of these different industries, transporting, trucking, Google, I was in Silicon Valley, why did Rob say, you know what, credit is my thing, man, that's where I'm going to win?
Well, when I was working for Bank of America, commercial lending from the mid-'80s on, after I got out of high school and went to college at night, and I work in the commercial lending, commercial real estate, commercial business loans and things like that, SB loans. And a lot of people got turned down because of credit. So I started picking up books. There was no internet, there was no Google. Picked up physical books at the library and started reading books about credit repair, the few that were available. And I started applying that knowledge to my declined clients. Fix up the credit for free. Resubmit the application, it got approved, and my sales just jumped through the roof. So I'm like way up here, department of 500 people at Bank of America. I was like here, and the second person was way down here as far as sales. He said, Robert, what's your secret? I remember doing a similar recording like this as well. I said, not gonna tell him. I'm not telling my secret sauce. And it made me successful. And when I got laid off in early 1991, I jumped right into the credit restoration business and been doing it since. And we grew and grew and grew, and it was a phenomenal ride. And now I'm getting to a point where after 3.3 decades, is that right, in the business, the next chapter in my life is to do public speaking, because I find that you go to a local college or look at a college schedule, junior college, state college, university, there's nothing about credit, especially if you talk to the business dean of the business division of a school. People getting business degrees, minors in real estate or whatnot, even master's degrees. There's nothing on credit. And there is no credit 101. And these college kids are getting all these credit cards, apply this and that, and they get themselves into debt. I was one of them. So we have to teach the youth about this. We have to teach them about this thing, and there is no credit 101. So starting a public speaking company is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, where I get compensated for it, of course. Nothing's free in life, but deliver the perfect information, not a non-salesy presentation, if it's on the computer or webinar or in person, which I love being in front of crowds, to teach you stuff and teach people of any age. I don't care if you just moved here from Vietnam last week and you're 45 years old, or you're 18 getting credit for the first time. The do's and don'ts of, and that's what we have to get out to this public, because there's so many. There's a lawsuit happening every 3 seconds in this country pertaining to debt. Credit cards, cars that were repossessed, mortgages back in '08 when houses were being foreclosed on, a lot of problems. And so it's crazy out there in civil court or small claims court litigation going on. There's a lot of people being sued every 3 seconds for some kind of collection debt. And consumers have rights that can protect it. It is your debt. Okay, Mr. Quinn, yeah, you charge up that $6,000 on that credit card, you didn't pay the bill on purpose, or COVID, whatever the excuse is. But in time, if those creditors violate law, called FCRA, you have a right to sue them. And a lot of people don't know that.
Now, and that's a very interesting point, because, you know, I deal with collection agencies and we get sued all the time from those who know what you know. We never get sued by some ignorant debtor who doesn't know anything. It's always a debtor who knows their rights, and they win all the time. Let me say that. Very interesting story, man. Now, when you built your credit business and you're moving, what was the height of, well, before I get to that, here's the question I've always wanted to know. Being that America's monetary system is based off credit, why don't they teach the kids credit in school?
They really should be teaching this stuff to kids as young as 9, 10 years old. I did a fun presentation. It was in 2005. It was to a bunch of fifth graders, 9, 10 years old, around there, maybe 11. And this one girl, you know, I did it with cartoon characters that keep their attention, saying, if you did this, this will happen. If you don't do this, this will happen. And this one little girl raises her hand, maybe 25 kids. It was at a local public school in San Jose. And she said, Mr. Childs, call me Robert. Okay, I'll call you Robert. He says, why is it that whenever I see my parents go to the store, they're always charge. And days later, they're fighting. And they're fighting over money. And the kids don't understand this. Even 11, 12, 10 years old, they don't understand. Why is mommy and daddy fighting? Because the spending habits are getting crazy. It's easy to charge now, pay later mentality, and they do. And this little girl is thinking, she actually said it to me, so you have to be 18 to get credit cards? I can't wait. Be careful, because this is what happens. You know, again, using Bugs Bunny cartoons and Mickey Mouse, you know, to kind of blend it in with what happens in real life. And they got the point. And I said to her, credit is a privilege. A driver's license is a privilege. Don't abuse it. If you do, you're going to get in trouble. And when you get older and get married, young gal, you don't want to be the same thing with your husband or wife and when you guys have kids. And there were some parents in the background too. This was like an after-school event. And so it was amazing what it coming from these kids. You know, I remember I attended a wedding, my second cousin's wedding in Philadelphia a few years ago. And one of their friends had a little 4-year-old girl. And, you know, when they passed the microphone around, congratulations, Bill and Samantha, blah, blah, blah. And they hand the mic to the little girl, and kids are honest. And he said to her, Aunt Samantha, your wedding was boring. If you want an honest answer, ask a kid. You know, and if that was true, I thought, yeah, a little boring. But the point is, that kid was honest. And what kids see and what kids are learning, they see from their parents. Either one spouse beating another spouse, domestic violence, or, you know, they try to be, you know, they're great parents and they try to teach them the best. Child, go to school, get a college degree, but be self-employed. Great. That's the mentality you want to put in the children these days. So it's crazy of all different households what these kids are seeing. They're like an open book. They think that what their parents are doing, even though it's wrong, they think it's right. And credit and debt is the number one factor for divorce because of money problems. So And it was amazing. That was the first time, the last time I did kids like that. It was crazy doing a presentation. The parents are in the background, but the kids are right there at their desks, and they're asking questions about this stuff. And they're telling me the truth of what they see their parents doing. But we got to get this to the college, high school. We got to get to the high school level. Guys, you're going to be 18 soon and graduating, going off to college. Be careful with student loan debt, this debt, that debt. You get off to college, you're going to be flooded with credit card applications for student credit cards. Be careful. These are the do's and don'ts of how you're going to build your credit. And so we got to get it out there. And my goal is I'd love to get it in every college in the country, junior college on up. It's important.
Now, to give the people just a perspective on how, I just want to put it out there, how great you were and are at this business. How many employees did you get to at your height of building your business?
560 employees when I sold my company in January of 2012 to a big bank. It was amazing. And I had a flame in my stomach I want to grow this big, like steroids. But then it got to a point where I got burned out because I worked too many hours. I felt like I was working 29 hours a day, 9 days a week, and I was. And I said, sold it, took some time off, traveled to Asia with my wife, came back and started a smaller company with no more than 15 employees now, and that's it. Not doing anything bigger. But it's a fun business, and I love the public speaking. I mean, I don't care if Bill Gates hand me all of his money. Now I'm worth $100 billion. I'm always going to educate. I love public speaking. I love it. And it's important to educate the public. And I did well financially with that business, made a lot of money. But what's the point if you can't enjoy it? People work themselves into the grave. And it's to a point where I just want to help people. And I love helping people. It's fun. And get to a point where I can answer the questions. And if I can help a family with their financial situation without filing for bankruptcy or losing their property, I can do whatever I can. Even if I give them free advice, I don't care. And with my presentations, I lay it out. I'm not saying, hey, okay, I'm going to give you enough information. Do I want you to call me to hire me? No, I'll let you guys know everything. And what you do with it, great. I'll give you guidance. But we're here to help people, clean up their credit. And cleaning credit is not 100%. Cleaning credit takes a long time. It could take a year, 6 months to a year and a half, rarely 2. As long as a person doesn't have ongoing negative issues, collections, lates, things like that, we can help them. It's not an overnight success. So the fastest credit bureau file that I did was probably 4 months to get to the needed credit score. But it's imperative, to understand what's on your credit report and teach this to your kids.
Nice. Yeah, man, I think that's very important. I started selling cars when I was like 21, and I really got into credit back then because, of course, they couldn't get approved. And then I started looking at myself saying, are you even eligible to get approved, right? You're looking and joking at them, but you may not be able to walk in. So it's definitely one of the most important things in American monetary system. So as you were going along, you built your company, you sold it, you kind of got burnt out, and then you built up a smaller company. I'm satisfied. Pretty soon I'm going to Vietnam. I want to ask you a few questions off of credit. Is that okay? Okay. Do you think that Donald Trump is going to prison? Do you think he's guilty of what they're saying?
I think that with his fraud trial going on with his companies, do I like the guy? Yeah. Do I like him from the beginning? I did. I'm not a politician. I'm not an expert on politics. I'll never become a news anchor to start talking about it. But a lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him. And a lot of the Vietnamese love him. For that. So I'm neutral, to be honest. But I think that with all the evidence of the insurrection, January 6, 2021, did he influence that? Maybe he did. But people around him are going to jail. Her former lawyer, 38 years old, she lost her law license for 5 years and in some kind of community service. So people around him are going to jail. Will he go to jail? most likely, in my opinion. Yeah.
Is this the first time in American history that we've done this to one of our presidents?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think it was. I think this is the only time in American history that we've seen this issue happen with a former president.
So, just out of your opinion, because I have my own opinion and just yours, do you believe the part when he says that, let's say Joe or anyone, but people that are now in power just have it out for him?
Well, I wish I could read minds on that one.
Just your opinion of it. No
Yeah,
one knows for sure.
I think so. I believe so. Yeah. Dianne Feinstein didn't like him. Does Joe Biden like him? Yeah, he's not being expressive in public because in the court itself, yeah, he's president, so he has to be careful. Most powerful person in the world, but
Well, he did call him Sleepy Joe for quite some time.
he did. Yeah, Donald Trump is, especially the North Korean leader, Kim Jo something or another, calling him Rocket Man, and then months later he's crossing the DMZ, going like this. So, yeah, everyone's got different opinions of it. Personally, he wouldn't be my best friend, Donald Trump, crazy hair, but I like Alec Baldwin's impression of Donald Trump. He did a great job of that one. My God, that was funny.
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, yeah, but is he going to go to jail? I'm about 50-50 sure that he will. Yeah.
Okay, now, what about what's going on today, right? A lot of drama over there, okay? Just your opinion or no comment, either one, is like with the Palestine and the Israel thing, is this, I think in the beginning they were trying to say that there's a humanitarian conflict where too many innocent Palestinians are getting killed. And in the beginning, they did come and kill like 1,200 Israelis, which, was a sad thing. Does it justify now, just your opinion, what's going on today?
No war is good. No one wins. Especially if you start hitting nuclear buttons, no one's going to win at all. I don't believe in war. I believe in self-defense, but I don't believe in war. I remember watching a CNN report, and I remember the name of the general. I'm bad with names, and he was on the Sunday afternoon on the air with this CNN reporter. He was a 3-star general. I can't remember his name. He says, if we went to war with North Korea, how long would it last? How long would the war last? Oh, 10 or 15 minutes. Because are they powerful? But do they have nuclear missiles? Just takes one missile. That's it. We're all done. Night of the Living Dead, or zombies are gonna be walking around. Who knows? But war's not good. So you talk to 1,000 people, Palestinians, Israel, Gaza. You're probably going to hear a mix. This is good. This is good. That's bad. This is bad, and neutral. So in me, I don't think war is. If it's absolutely necessary, you have no choice. There is evil out there. But self-defense, you have to. I mean, if someone broke in my house in the middle of the night and threatened my family, I'm not a violent person. I would most likely try to kill that guy or a person breaking in, because that's self-defense on my property. So, but war is just not a good thing. It's not good for the economy, and definitely it kills people, and it's not good.
Now, what does that do for the debt, right? We're going in at this current moment. I think we're bombing a part of Syria. We're involved in the Ukraine war. Our arms are we're like an octopus right now, right? America, and as you mentioned earlier, we're 17 trillion already in credit card debt alone, right? I don't even, does that have anything to do with mortgage debt or anything else? Okay, so what does this look like in the future in regards to our monetary system? Is it because some people, I've heard some people say, and I don't know how true this is, I've heard some people say war is the biggest money generator for our system because we steal oil. I don't know. I just personally don't. But to me, from what it looks like, we're spending tons of money and
We are. I think they just said on the news that the U.S. government just approved a $17 billion package for Israel, which is 2 pennies to you and I. But the debt's growing. I mean, even during COVID, the PPP and EIDL scams, we lost $650 billion with a B, $billion to international fraudsters with fake companies. And we getting that money back? No, no. The United States federal payroll is $125 billion a month. So, are we spending more money than we should? Yeah. We keep increasing the debt ceiling. Every president, then there's looming another shutdown with another 60 days. So that's the answer. It's like telling Mr. Bank, I have a 20,000 limit. I'm maxed out. I'm going to raise my own credit limit to 40,000. And when I get there, I'm going to raise it again. That's what's happening. So we're never going to get out of debt. Unless a magical international tooth fairy comes up with trillions of dollars in debt and pay it off. But guess what? If we did pay it off, we're going to do it all over again. So our kids are going to be suffering, paying us back. Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong here, but from my recollection, which I don't have a great memory, but from my recollection, after Bill Clinton got out of office, I thought we were like even. We didn't owe nothing, and then it all kicked back in because September 11th happened kind of as soon as Bush Jr. got in, and that's when the debt. We need money. We need to go to war. But were we even close to wiping all of our debt during that Bill Clinton?
I think it was 2006 or 2005. We only had $6 trillion in debt. And 20 years later, almost 20 years later, 18 years later, 32 trillion. USDebtClock.gov. Check it out for yourself. Upper left-hand corner. See that mountain growing. It's growing at a rate of $250,000 a second. The deficit. So the federal deficit, and then there's other numbers that will blink at local numbers and so forth. But USDebtClock.org. Check it out. But it's getting worse. We got to get the controlling the spending under control, because we're being affected by that increase in interest rates on credit cards. I just got a notice from my bank saying that, we're the prime rate went up, so we had to increase your rate by 1 or 2%. Good thing I pay off my credit cards monthly, so I'm not affected by it. But Americans that can't or don't, they're the one paying through the nose. Fixed rates, you're okay. Car loans, fixed rate on mortgages, you're fine. But when you go to refi or buy a new home, guess what? You're paying a higher rate. So if you're buying a rental property, even higher. So, it's nuts. It's absolutely insane. This is why, for my wife and I, we're going to be out of here. Still keep roots in the United States and California, but to live abroad. And that's been my goal for a long time.
Nice, man. Nice. So, and we're going to wrap it up in a little while, but I love this interview. I'm learning a lot. So with the credit monetary system and seeing where it's going, right? The trillions in debt and more coming. What would you advise the average 25-year-old who just got their third, fourth credit card, their first home, first car, and they want to live the American dream? What is your advice to that person?
Be careful what type of credit card that you get for a better credit rating. Stick with a top tier 1 bank, B of A, Wells Fargo. Citibank, US Bank, any credit union is considered a top tier 1 bank. It's better for your for higher credit limits, and it's also better for your credit and credit score. Don't overspend. Don't max out the credit cards and make the minimum payment. That's, someone who maxes out a $5,000 credit limit credit card, making the minimum payment could take 25 to 27 years to pay it off. So, and double your payment, and you'll be paying off in about 15 years or 12 years, 13 years. So, live within your means. Someone who buys a home. Let's say you have a married couple; they both have income. I'm gonna be with the gal this time. She makes $200 a year. The husband makes $100,000 a year. If you can get a mortgage on the $100,000 a year salary and afford it, just in case she gets laid off, you'll be fine. So get a home and get a mortgage payment comfortable to what the lower the two salaries are. Because if he gets laid off, you're fine. But if she gets laid off, you're still fine. So get a mortgage that's affordable for the lower salary that's earned in that household, just in case someone gets laid off. But try to save money. And of course, if all possible, guys, pay off your credit cards every single month. 0 interest rate charged by the bank.
Hey, man, I wish I would have heard that advice when I was 25. Maybe I did and I didn't pay attention to it, but I wish I would have walked that walk. I think that's some phenomenal, because now that I'm 45 and I know how important interest rates are and credit card and paying it off before the end of the month. Trust me, you guys, he's telling you something that is golden and you will never see it in an encyclopedia. Before we get out of here, man, I want you to brief the public on where they can go to get in contact with Robert Childs. Anything upcoming that you may have, like I believe we were talking about you building a YouTube channel soon, or
Yep, I'll be doing that. Putting some content on there, short, 2, 3, 4 minute content per video that I want to get on there to educate all of you guys about this crazy credit world. Do's and don'ts of. It's going to be a series of different videos. But if you want to get a hold of me, ask me some questions, you can also text me. My number is 949 area code 371 8885. Again, 949-371-8885. And you can visit my website at debtandcreditguys with an S on the end.com. DEBTAND creditguys with an S.com. Visit us online. If you guys want a free, we always give free consultation. I recommend go to annualcreditreport.com, order the 3 reports for free. Email to me, which I'll call me first, and I can let you know, talk to you first, and then we'll come up with an action plan for your credit cleanup. Even if you have great credit, even if you already have a 725 FICO score, there's always a way to use good credit to make it better. And I give free advice all the time, guys. I'll tell you how to do your own credit repair for free, but be prepared to spend 17 hours a month to do that.
Hey, well, thank you, Robert, man. I'm so happy that you and I met. We linked up. I look forward to like a lot more in the future. And for anyone out there, man, I've heard tons of credit people. Trust me, for anyone who wants to go with the best credit guy available, the best credit company available, give them the website one last time, Rob.
Definitely. Debtandcreditguys.com. Phone number 949-371-8885.
Have a great day, people, and we are out of here.